Good day, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another Forex beginners class. I remain your host and facilitator, Halilu Ahmed Samuel, and this is our fourth class, or the fourth topic, if I may say. So, we've covered what is Forex, we also looked at how do you trade Forex, and we looked at when can you trade Forex. So, this video is going to be about who trades Forex. So, Forex market structure. For the sake of comparison, let us first examine a market that most folks are probably very familiar with, the stock market. This is how the structure of the stock market looks like. So we have the buyers, we have the centralized markets, that is the master of the universe, one price and controls the spread. Then we have sellers. By its very nature, the stock markets tend to be very monopolistic. There is only one entity, one specialist that controls prices. All traders must go through this specialist. Because of this, prices can easily be altered to benefit the specialists and not traders. How does this happen? In the stock market, the specialist is forced to fulfill the order of his clients. Now, let's say the number of sellers suddenly exceeds the number of buyers. The specialist, which is forced to fulfill the order of his clients, the sellers, in this case, is left with a bunch of stock that he can now sell off to the buyer's side. In order to prevent this from happening, the specialist will simply widen the spread or increase the transaction cost to prevent sellers from entering the market. In other words, the specialist can manipulate the quotes if it is offering to accommodate its needs. The trading spot FX is decentralized. Unlike in trading stocks or futures, you don't need to go through a centralized exchange like the New York Stock Exchange with just one price. In the Forex market, there is no single price that is for a given currency at any time, which means quotes from different currency dealers vary. This is how a decentralized market looks like. You can see how the networks and how the connections are. So this might be overwhelming at first, but this is what makes the Forex market so freaking awesome. The market is so huge and the competition between dealers is so fierce that you get the best deal almost every single time. And tell me, who does not want that? Also, one cool thing about Forex trading is that you can do it from anywhere, just like trading Jordans or rare handbags. You want that mint condition Air Jordan 4 Retro Eminent Encore 2007, so it is up to you to find the best deal out there. The FX ladder. Even though the Forex market is decentralized, it isn't pure and utter chaos. The participants in the Forex market can be organized into a ladder. To better understand what we mean, here is a neat illustration. So these are the Forex market hierarchy. You can start from the bottom because if you're climbing a ladder, you don't start from up, you climb from down to go up. Ladder helps you to go up or go down depending on who you are. So let's start from the down. We have the retail traders. Then we have the retail market makers, retail ECN, hedge funds and commercial companies. Next, we have the medium-sized and small banks. We have electronic brokering services, the EBS, the routers, dealing 3000 spot marketing, and then we have the major banks. This is the market and the hierarchy. At the very top of the Forex market ladder is the interbank market, composed of the largest banks in the world. The participants of this market trade directly with each other, that's bilaterally, or through voice or electronic brokers, such as the EBS market or routers matching. The competition between the two companies, the EBS and the routers, now rebranded as Reventive, is similar to Coke and Pepsi. They are in a constant battle for clients. and continually try to one up each other for a market share. While both companies offer most currency pairs, some currency pairs are more liquid on one than the other. For the EBS platform, Euro US dollar Japanese yen, Euro Japanese yen, Euro Swiss franc, and US dollar Swiss francs are more liquid. Meanwhile, for the routers platform, British pound US dollar, Euro British pound, US dollar Canadian dollar, Australia dollar United States dollar, and New Zealand dollar US dollar are more liquid. All the banks that are part of the interbank market can see the rates that each other is offering, but this doesn't necessarily mean that anyone can make deals at this price. Like in real life, the rates will be largely dependent on the established credit relationship between the trading parties. It's like asking for a loan at your local bank. The better your credit standing and reputation with them, the better the interest rates and the larger loan you can get. So next on the ladder are the hedge funds. The hedge funds, the corporations, the retail market makers, and the retail ECNs. Since these institutions do not have tight credit relationship with the participants of the intermarket, they have to do their transactions via commercial banks. This means that their rates are slightly higher and more expensive than those who are part of the interbank market. At the very bottom of the ladder are the retail traders. It used to be very hard for us little people to engage in the forex market, but thanks to the advent of the internet, the electronic trading, and retail brokers, the difficult barriers to entry in the forex markets have all been taken down. This gave us the chance to play with those high up the ladder and poke them with very long and cheap stick. Now that you know the forex market structure, let's get to know them forex market players. So the forex market players. Now that you know the overall structure of the forex markets, let's devolve in a little deeper to find out who exactly these people on the ladder are. It is essential for you that you understand the nature of the spot forex market and who are the main forex market players. Until the late 90s, only the big boys could play this game. The initial requirement was that you could trade only if you had about 10 to 50 million bucks to start with. Chop change, right? Forex was originally intended to be used by bankers and large institutions and not by us little folks. However, because of the rise of the internet, online forex brokers are now able to offer trading accounts to retail traders like us. Without further ado, here are the major forex market players. 1. The super banks. Since the forex spot market is decentralized, it is the largest banks in the world that determine the exchange rates. Based on the supply and demand for currencies, they are generally the ones that make the bid-ask spread that we all love or hate. These large banks, collectively known as the interbank market, take on ridiculous amount of forex transactions each day for both their customers and themselves. They are known as Flowmasters or Flow Monsters. For these Flow Monsters, the name of the game is volume and capturing their share of the trading flow of currency. A couple of these Flow Monsters include Citi, JP Morgan, UBS, Barclays, Deutsche Bank, Goldman Sachs, HSBC, and Bank of America. This is a chart, just a schematic chart of the major banks. You can see a decade changes in 2 years. So you can see the percentage control each bank had before. You can see the Dutch as the early 20s were the top bank of the world. Next was the UBS, followed by the BAML and some other banks. And there you can see how it has changed. Currently, the Citibank is number 1, of recent time, followed by the JP Morgan, and then the UBS, the Deutsche Bank, the BML, and the Barclays. So these are the major super banks. 2. Large commercial companies. Companies take part in the forex exchange market for the purpose of doing business. For instance, Apple must first exchange its United States dollar for the Japanese yen when purchasing electronic parts from Japan for its products. Since the volume they trade is much smaller than those in the interbank market, this type of market player typically deals with commercial banks for their transactions. Mergers and acquisitions, which is M&A, between large companies can also create currency exchange rate fluctuations. In international crossover M&As, cross-border M&As, a lot of currency conversation happens that could move prices around. 3. Governments and central banks. Governments and central banks, such as the European Central Bank, the Bank of England, the Federal Reserve, and so many other banks and central banks, are regularly involved in the forex market too. Just like companies, national governments participate in the forex market for their operations, international trade payments, and handling their foreign exchange reserves. Meanwhile, central banks affect the forex market when they adjust interest rates to control inflation. By doing this, they can affect currency valuation. There are also instances when central banks intervene, either directly or verbally, in the forex market when they want to realign exchange rates. Sometimes, central banks think that their currency is priced too high or too low, so they start massive sell or buy operations to alter exchange rates. 4. The speculators. Currency speculation is the act of buying and holding foreign currency in the hopes of selling that currency at a higher exchange rate in the future. This is in contrast to those who buy currencies to finance a foreign investment or to pay for imported products or services. In it to win it, that is the motto. This is probably the mantra of the speculators. Speculation in forex market involves the buying and selling of currencies with the view of making a profit. Speculators are focused on price fluctuation. It is called speculation because of the uncertainty involved, since no one can know for sure whether a currency pair's price will go up or down. Traders assess the likelihood of either scenario before placing a trade. Comprising close to 90% of all trading volume, speculators as forex market players come in all shapes and sizes. Some have fat pockets, some roll thin, but all of them engage in the forex simply to make bucket loads of cash. Once you graduate from our school of pipsology, you might just end up joining this crowd. Of course, how can you be one of the cool cats if you don't even know your forex history? Know your forex history. At the end of World War II, the whole world was experiencing so much chaos that the major Western countries felt the need to create a system to stabilize the global economy. And known as the Bretton Woods system, the agreement set the exchange rate of the US dollar against gold, which allowed all the other currencies to be pegged around the US dollar. This stabilized exchange rates for a while, but as the major economies of the world started to change and grow at different speeds, the rules of the system soon became obsolete and limiting. Soon enough, come 1971, the Bretton Woods Agreement was abolished and replaced by a different currency valuation system. With the United States in the pilot seat, the currency market evolved to a free-floating one, where exchange rates were determined by supply and demand. At first, it was difficult to determine fair exchange rates, but advances in technology and communication eventually made things easier. Once the 1990s came along, thanks to computer nerds and the booming growth of the internet, cheers to you, Mr. Al Gore, banks began creating their own trading platforms. These platforms were designed to live quotes to their clients so that they could instantly execute trades themselves. Meanwhile, some smart business-minded marketing machines introduced internet-based trading platform for individual traders, known as the retail forex brokers. These entities made it easier for individuals to trade by allowing smaller trade sizes. Unlike in the interbank market, where the standard trade size is 1 million units, retail brokers allowed individuals to trade as little as 1,000 units. Retail forex brokers. In the past, only the big speculators and highly capitalized investment funds could trade currencies, but thanks to retail forex brokers and the internet, this isn't the case anymore. With hardly any barrier to entry, anybody could just contact a broker, open up an account, deposit some money, and trade forex from the comfort of their own home. Brokers basically come in two forms: the market makers, and as their name suggests, make or set their own bid and ask prices themselves, and two, the ECN, the electronic communication networks, who use the best bid and ask price available for them from different institutions on the interbank market. Now, market makers. Let's say you wanted to go to France to eat some snails. In order for you to transact in the country, you need to get your hands on some euros first by going to the bank or the local foreign currency exchange office. For them to take the deposit side of your transaction, you have to agree to exchange your home currency or euros at the price they set. Like in any business contraction, there is a catch. In this case, it comes in the form of the bid ask spread. For instance, if the bank's buying price, that's the bid for Euro US dollar, is 1.20000 and their selling price, that's the ask price, is 1.2002, then the bid ask spread is 0.0002. Although seemingly small, when you're talking about millions of these forex transactions every day, it just adds up to create a hefty profit for the market makers. You could say that market makers are the fundamental building blocks of the foreign exchange market. Retail market makers basically provide liquidity by repackaging large contract sizes from wholesalers in bit-sized pieces. Without them, it would be very hard for the average Joe to trade forex. The ECN, Electronic Communication Network. The ECN is the name given for trading platform that automatically match customers buy and sell orders at stated prices. These stated prices are gathered from different market makers, banks, and even other traders using the ECN. Whenever a certain sell or buy order is made, it is matched up to the best bid ask price out there. Due to the ability for traders to set their own prices, ECN brokers typically charge a very small commission for the trades they take. The combination of tight spreads and small compression usually make transaction costs cheaper on ECN brokers. Of course, it's not enough to know the big guys in the biz. As big people once said, trading requires time. Do you know when you should trade? This is the end of our class on who trades forex. Hope you've learned one or two things about the market structure and the rest and the players of the forex market. For any questions or inquiries, you can contact me on any of the following platforms: Facebook, YouTube, Gmail, Telegram, Twitter, and my WhatsApp. Look forward to hearing from you in the next class or next topic. Thank you.